Real-world asset tokens are only as trustworthy as their backing. When an issuer says their tokens are backed one by one by dollars, treasuries, or gold, how do you verify that? Right now, you have to manually look up Onchain supply on a block explorer, do the math yourself, and hope that the numbers match up. It's slow, time-consuming, and if there's a discrepancy, you might not catch it until it's too late. What if you could enter a stablecoin and instantly see the on-chain supply versus the claimed reserves? Backing ratio calculated automatically. Today, I'm building an RWA asset backing verifier with Claude Code and the Moralis token API. This is the transparency tools that compliance teams, auditors, and researchers need. Let's get started. All right, the very first step is we open up a terminal and then navigate to our desktop. And then on our desktop, we create a folder and call it Moralis RWA. Let's go into that folder. And then while we're in here, we're going to run this command. And this is the Moralis on-chain skills open source GitHub repository. What this allows us to do is it allows LLMs like Claude Code and Codex to basically understand how to work with the Moralis APIs by reading the documentation and understanding how we need to fetch from these APIs. So we go through the process of choosing all three, click Claude Code, project, and install. And now the on-chain skills are installed into this project, but that is not the final step. We still need to include our Moralis API key. So now I'll show you how to get that. The way we get our Moralis API key is very simple. All we need to do is go to moralis.com and log in or create an account. And on the right-hand side here, you're going to have your API key. Just copy it right here, go back to the terminal. And now we need to open up our project into a code editor. So let's open this up. And inside of here, we're going to have two files. We're going to have a .env and a .getignore file. You just create these by right-clicking New File. And in the .env file, you're going to have a variable called Moralis API key. So you paste in that API key that we just copied right here. I don't do this on screen because this is a very private file, so you want to keep this hidden. But you would paste it right here. And then in the .getignore file, you just have a value of .env. And this blocks your env file from being uploaded to Git. So it's another security measure. And at this point, our project is all set up and ready to go. And we're starting to move to the point of the project where we can talk to Claude and prompt out exactly what we want out of this UI. All right, here's my favorite part of the video when we start prompting to Claude. So all we need to do is type out Claude in the terminal, and this opens up the Claude CLI. And now we can prompt out exactly what we want and tell Claude how we want this UI to look. So I'm going to type out something like create an RWA asset backing UI using the Moralis token API. The Moralis on-chain skills are installed. And I'm going to give Claude even more context of what features I want out of this application. So for example, I'm telling it I want fiat-backed stablecoins, and I want tokenized treasuries and tokenized commodities. So I want to see all this in a clean format where I can kind of see what's backed by what reserves, and in a way where we can basically filter out what we want to see and verify that these reserves are actually true on the UI. So let's go through the process of accepting these commands from Claude and sit back and watch Claude build this out for us. I cannot wait to see it. All right, great. Claude is all done building out this UI for us. So now all we need to do is go back to the Claude CLI and just type out launch this app in a browser. And what Claude is actually going to do, it's going to spin up a development server in the background, which means that we're going to be able to see this UI on a browser. So we'll be able to actually interact with this in real time and see which assets are backed by RWAs. And it looks like, oh, here it is. Oh, check this out. Look how great this looks. So we have an RWA asset backing verifier. So this is a view of popular USD stablecoins. We have others too, but like mostly USDC, USDT, and we can see basically the holder count. We can see the backing ratio. That means how much of this $52 billion supply is actually backed by a various amount of assets. It could be treasuries, it could be certain commodities like gold, or fiat backed like cash backing currencies. So this is so helpful. If I was in DeFi analysis or a researcher or some sort of institutional investor, these are the type of tools that I would love to have at my disposal. Just having a very transparent view of blockchain related RWA assets and what they are backed by in terms of the stablecoins here. So another role would be if I was in risk or compliance or some sort of auditor or regulator. These are also the type of tools that I will need at my disposal. So with the power of the Moralis APIs, you can create applications like this in a breeze. And these are all verifiable on the blockchain. It also gives me this excellent audit report. So I can download a report here and I can basically see, just in a plain view of, when I am pulling this report, it looks like it's telling me the total supply of the token, the reserves, and the ratio of those reserves. And it looks like some of these are fully backed and some are still under review. So again, this is just a handy little tool to have at my disposal. But I can even filter this out more to just view treasuries. So I can see what assets are actually backed by treasury RWAs. And it looks like we have bonds here. We have, looks like we have a BlackRock USD institutional digital dollar. So this looks like all this data can be verifiable. It looks like I can click on this. Okay, so this is the actual site. And nice, it tells us exactly what we need to see. It's giving us an actual source. In a matter of minutes with the Moralis APIs and Claude Code, you can create incredible tools like this. Quick recap. Today we built a fully functional RWA asset backing verifier. This dashboard is so useful if you are in risk and compliance or treasury management, because we want to see which assets and stablecoins are actually backed by real treasuries, commodities, or fiat. This is important if you're wanting to invest or use these assets as collateral or as a investment tool. If you want to build these type of tools yourself, all you need to do is go to Moralis.com, sign up, create an account, and get your API key today. You can start building them with Claude in a matter of minutes. If there's anything else that you want me to build, just let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.